out of church yesterday. They hot. They didn't read their Bible. They didn't read them two verses in the Bible. Now they ready to debate. They ready to debate. You see, and so that's right. We're in the house. Did it exist? Because I'm saying it didn't exist. There's no way you gonna make me believe without mass production of the Bible that Christianity as we know it today, where the common man and woman has access to the Bible, can read it for themselves, can check the preacher, the pastor. You had no ability to do that before the mass production of the Bible. You didn't have, so I mean, how could you even challenge the damn preacher or anybody without a Bible in your own possession? Motherfucker come out there tell you anything. You wouldn't know. How would you be able to refute him? You see? And so yeah, I'm telling you, the Christianity you know today is a new is a total different religion than anything that exists prior to the 19th century. Okay? Prior to the 19th century. Let me come on in. So, God just told me about some damn matter of fact, let me go on and get in here and go to work. The oldest New Testament. Look at this shit. You got Papyrus 52. 125 to 175. I'm showing you fraudulent shit. Because ain't no way you going to be able to preserve the Bible with this shit. So the oldest surviving New Testament manuscript. Here we go. Papyrus, understand it's on papyrus. So they trying to develop like the ancient Egyptians. But they just can't do it. When you first start and you've been illiterate all your existence, it's hard to come out of that caveman reality. So if you talking about Papyrus 52, which is 125, 175 AD, what is it? A small fragment of the Gospel of John. Okay, now understand, this is the oldest. See, I want you to walk with me, family. The general is dropping gems. Man, peace to the God, Walter Williams, Professor Walter Williams. Peace to the God. You feel me? Yeah, nobody want to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it today. So, it says, what we're talking about right here are the oldest surviving New Testament manuscripts. Papyrus 52, listen, a small fragment of the Gospel of John. Okay? Often considered the oldest surviving New Testament manuscript. A small fragment of the Gospel of John. Now listen. Then you got Papyrus 46, 175 to 225 AD. Now, taking in mind, Jesus supposedly died in 33 AD, right? Okay, 33 AD. So contains much of Paul's letter. I don't care about Paul. Paul was not an original disciple of Jesus Christ. Okay, he was not a part of the 12. So I don't give a goddamn. Paul usurped and is the most important figure in the New Testament. It might as well be Paulinism because his books are actually older than the Gospels. Did y'all know that? And the Gospels are supposed to be written by the disciples that walked with Jesus, and Paul letters and books are older than the disciples that supposedly walked with Jesus. Make me understand that. And Paul was a murderer of Christians. Did y'all know that? Yet he became the greatest figure in Christianity outside of Jesus. Paul has the most influence of any author in the New Testament. And he never walked with Jesus. He was a murderer of Christians. Okay? So papyrus and you understand papyrus. They still writing on papyrus. So that's coming out of ancient Egypt. Okay? So listen. So you got Paul papyrus 46, 175 to 225 AD, contains much of Paul's letters, one of the oldest substantial New Testament manuscripts. Then you got Papyrus 66, 200 AD, contains most of the Gospel of John. All of this is fabricated. Papyrus 75, all of them on papyrus. Papyrus 75, which is also 175 to 225 AD, contains large portions of Luke and John. Okay. Then you got the Codex Vaticus. Codex Vaticanus, 300 to 325 AD. Okay, one of the oldest, nearly complete New Testaments. So I'm thinking, how the fuck? Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. I want y'all to walk with me now so you can see this shit. Now we talking about the oldest surviving manuscript. Now what I just showed you, Papyrus 46, which is the oldest, one of the oldest. No, Papyrus 52. 125 to 175, small fragment of Gospel of John, often considered the oldest surviving New Testament manuscript. Okay, so that's 125, 175 AD. Oldest surviving New Testament, but it's a fragment of John. Then you got Papyrus 46. You got to have the whole fucking book, though. Because if that's the oldest, and then the next papyrus, the oldest papyrus, 175 to 225, that's Paul's letters. Then you got Papyrus 66, which contains most of John. Then you got Papyrus 75, contains large portions of Luke and John. I don't hear nothing about the other books. And then you got Codex Vaticanus, Vaticanus, 300 to 325. Then you got the Codex Sinaiticus, which is 330 to 336 60 BC, the oldest surviving complete copy. So you telling me that the oldest surviving complete copy of the New Testament is over 300 years after the death of Jesus Christ? Then all the other supposed earlier books are only fragments. You don't have it just say Paul's letters. It says the Gospel of John. It says Luke, John, but it says nothing about the other books. Where's the other books at? Matter of fact, let me look that up. The oldest surviving book of Matthew. Look at this. Look at this. I want you to hear this shit. Papyrus 104, Listen, it says approximately 100 to 200 AD. Many scholars place it in the late second century. Listen, it only contains Matthew 21 verse 34 to 37. Then you got it also in chapter 21 verse 43 through 45. That's the oldest. You ain't even got the complete book. Where did they get the complete book to have the Codex Vaticanus and the Codex Sinaiticus and shit? Where did they come up with them books from? Because they don't have nothing, a complete book of Matthew. Where did they get that book from? They made it up. Them books is made up. They don't even have complete. They got fragments and shit, man. What the fuck? Y'all keep believing that shit if y'all want to. Let me see. Then they got Papyrus 6467. They call it the Magdalene Papyrus and the Barcelona Papyrus, late second to early third century AD. Portions of Matthew 3, 5, and 26. Nah, then you got Codex Sinaiticus, date 330 to 360, the oldest surviving complete copy of the gospel. So how the fuck did you get that complete book when all the earliest the earliest what you call manuscripts were just fragments? You see what I'm saying? In the one, the Papyrus 34 64 67, late second to early third century, that just it says portions of Matthew 3, 5, and 26. And then all of a sudden you got the whole book. But you don't have no whole book before 330 to 360 AD. That shit is fraudulent. It been made up. You don't have a blueprint. Where's the blueprint to get that whole book in 330 to 360 AD? You don't have one. That's fraudulent. You can throw that shit in the garbage. You can throw it. That's made up. It wasn't even made in 330 to 360 AD. That was made up. That shit was made up in probably in the 19th century. But anyway, family, believe it or not, we coming back. Click that link right down there in the chat. Click it. Patreon, General Seti. Get over there, get that work. General Seti, Etsy One Stop, and KingSeti.com. See y'all in a minute. Black Power.